Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve exercise or question number 5.12. Chapter is cost, profit, volume analysis. We have already done 11 questions and you people are well familiar with several terms, formulas, statements, and you know how to solve your question. We are just quickly repeating those important concepts. What we have studied is contribution margin, and how do you calculate? By subtracting your variable cost from sales. So you will write sales and will subtract your variable cost. Then you have seen contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio was calculated by dividing your contribution margin by sales. So in this way you have calculated your contribution margin ratio. You have also calculated very important contribution margin per unit. For that, what you will do, you will use the same formula as you have used above. You have used sale minus variable cost. So what you will do, per unit of sales, and then minus, write down minus, and then variable cost. So you will use per unit variable cost as well. So these are three very important phenomena and it would be used almost in every question. And then you have seen your break even point, and what you have understood, a point where your revenue is equal to your cost. This phenomena is very important to understand. If your revenues are equal to your cost, it is break even point, or in other words you can call it no profit and no loss. You are a stage where you are at even place, break even point, revenue is equal to your cost, and you have calculated your break even point in terms of units. So how do you calculate? You need fixed cost and you will divide it by CM per unit. CM per unit means contribution margin per unit, and you have already calculated that contribution margin per unit over here. This would be your break even point in terms of units, and then you have also calculated your break even point but in terms of dollar or in terms of amount or in terms of sales. So this is break even point in terms of sale. How do you calculate? You will take your fixed cost and will divide it by CM ratio. Ratio has also been calculated. You can see over here contribution margin ratio by dividing contribution margin to its sales. So again, these are 6 very important topics, and you have also calculated your units under target profit. Please keep it in mind. You will use the same formula which was used for break even point in terms of units. You will use fixed cost and will divide CM per unit. The only change which you will make in this formula, you will add target profit. Here you will add your target profit in fixed cost. This way you can calculate your target profit units. That means how many numbers should be manufactured, maintained or made to get a certain target profit. And you can also calculate sale as well, but for the time being just consider these 7 formulas, repeat them as many times as you can, because this would be very helpful for you to see your question solution or to solve any of the problem. Okay, So now we will be concentrating upon our question. This is exercise 5.2. We will understand what is written over here, but after looking at the requirement. Computes company's break-even point in numbers and sales. So our first requirement has arrived. We need to calculate our break-even point, but in terms of numbers or units. It is our requirement. How do you calculate? You will take fixed cost and will divide it by your CM but per unit. And you have complete idea how to calculate your CM per unit. You will take sales per unit and you will subtract variable cost per unit. Okay, this way you will complete your formula. And obviously we have already written over here in our statements, we have written contribution margin per unit. You may ask why we are writing again and again. The only purpose of repeating these statements and formulas so that you can have a proper and strong place in your mind. CM per unit we need so that we can put this per unit over here to calculate break even point in terms of unit. For that you need to have sale per unit. Come over here and read out. One of the company's product, a comp lantern sales for rupees 90 per unit. So sale price we have got is 90. You need to subtract it variable cost. So variable cost is also provided 63. You can put 63 over here. So this way you can calculate CM per unit. Now put it on your calculator. 90 minus 63. You have got your CM per unit, which is 27. So it's time to calculate your break even point. In terms of unit, you need to have fixed costs. Come over here. Fixed expenses with lantern is 135,000. So you will put 135,000, will divide it by what? CM per unit, and this is 27 CM per unit you have recently calculated. Put over here. Statement completed. Now you can write it on your calculator. 135,000 divided by 27. So 5,000 numbers appeared. Break even units. That means if you will produce 5,000 number of units, you will be at break even point. Answer is mentioned over here. Little blur maybe, but it is 5,000 since it has been written by hand and my handwriting is not good. So 5,000 break even point in terms of unit. 1B part is saying break even point in terms of number and break even point in terms of sales. So here we can consider it as 1A, where what you are going to calculate, again break even point is needed, but in terms of dollar or in terms of amount or in terms of sales, all names are equivalent. And how would you calculate this break even point? You need your fixed cost and will divide it upon CM ratio. Okay, for that purpose we need CM ratio and you know that CM ratio is calculated by taking CM and divide it by sales, and finally you may or you may not multiply it with 100. CM has been calculated as 27, put over here, and then you need to divide it by selling price. Selling price here 90 is mentioned. So in this way your statement is completed. Put it on your calculator. 27 divided by 90. So you have got your CM ratio 0.3. Now it's time to calculate your break even point in terms of amount. How do you calculate? First, I think we can take these statements over here to make the space. Okay, so you need fixed cost. Fixed cost is used over here, 1,35,000. Fixed cost will always be same, and you are going to divide it by CM ratio. And CM ratio here you have calculated 0.3. It's time to put this CM ratio over here, 0.3. Statement is completed. Put it on your calculator. 135,000 divided by 0.3. So here we have 4,50,000. Answer is not written over here, but don't worry. This is your answer. Please note it down and you can write it on your book or copy. 450,000 1A. In first requirement, we were asked to calculate break-even point in number of units. So break-even point in terms of unit 5,000 we have calculated. Answer was matched. And break-even point in terms of sales, here break-even point in terms of sale we have calculated fixed as fixed cost divided by CM ratio. 4,50,000 was the answer. Now let's see what second requirement is asking. If variable expense per liter as a percentage of selling price, will it if variable expenses are increasing? So there is no amount, it's a theory, we can take it later on. But you know that due to change in variable cost, your break-even point disturbs. Due to change in sales, yes, your break-even point disturbs. But we will discuss this later on. Right now, we are going to third point. At present, company is selling at 8,000 units. Sale manager is convinced by 10% reduction in selling price and will result 25% increase in number of lanterns. So what he wants us to do, prepare two contribution margin format income statement under present and proposed program. So first we are going to produce our income statement. This is contribution margin format income statement. So first we will write sale and then we will subtract variable cost. This will turn into our contribution margin, and then you will subtract your fixed cost. What you will get after would be your net margin. Alright, this is your net margin and contribution margin. Now he wants us to make two statements. You can see here, let's take this down. He wants us to make two statements. Over here you can see prepare two contribution margin format income statements. So first statement would be made according to our question what was given over here. As you can see that our selling price 90, 63, everything is provided. 8,000 number of units were also given. Here you will mention your number of units here and you will be making its statements over here. You can write amount and you will make a column over here. This is your original income statement without any change. So you are making 8,000 number of units. You can mention over here 8,000 number of units. Okay, according to this figure 8,000 you will calculate your sale price. How? You can see 90 is your per unit sale, so you will multiply units into per unit. I'm willing to calculate per unit as well, so we can fix it in this way. Here you can mention your per unit as well. It would be little more comfortable for you when you will put your units, per unit and amount at the same time. Understanding would be better. 8,000 units are you are manufacturing, per unit sale price is 90 given over here. Okay, so you can put 90 here. Calculate total selling price. How? By multiplying unit into per unit. Your units were 8,000, you are going to multiply it with per unit 90, sale price arrived. And variable cost is also provided. Variable expenses are 63. So per unit variable cost is given in the question 63. Now you can calculate total variable cost, units multiply by per unit 63, put over here. It's time to calculate your contribution margin by subtracting variable cost from sales. Your amount of sale is 7,20,000 and you will subtract your variable cost, which is 5,04,000. So you have calculated your contribution margin. It's time to calculate your fixed cost, which is also given in your question, 1,35,000. Openly put 1,35,000 in front of fixed cost. Now we can calculate our net margin by subtracting fixed cost from contribution margin. Your contribution margin is 216,000. Subtract fixed cost, which is 1,35,000. So you have calculated your net margin. But again, read over here. Prepare two contribution margin format income statement, one under present conditions. This is your present conditions. Now what you will do, you will make your new income statement. For me, it is little easy. What I will do, I will take everything from here and will make my new statement over here. So I will name it as 3A and will change everything present over here. Just format I am hiring from the previous statement, raise it. For that we will have to read why he is asking us to make two statements. To this, please understand this line. The sale manager is convinced to that 10% reduction in selling price. This is our first step. So why not to take first step first? He wants us to reduce sale price by 10%. This is your original sale price 90. If you will decrease 10%, so what you will do, 10% you will calculate and will subtract from 90. What we will have to do, actual price was 90 and you will subtract 10% of 90. How you would calculate 10% of 90? 90 multiplied by 10 divided by 100. So he wants us to subtract 10% of selling price. He wants us to reduce the selling price by 10%. So you have got your 81. I would like to show it over here. Original price was 90. He was willing us to reduce by 10%. How you would calculate 10%? 90 multiplied by 10 divided by 100. So it comes as 90. Original price was 90 and he wants us to decrease it by 9 and you will decrease it 10%, which was 9. What is happening again? Something is wrong with the formula. Let's grab it over here. Okay. So how much price? That is 81 and same we have calculated over here. If you want to calculate like this, you can, or if you want to calculate like this, you can as well. So here new per unit selling price has been arrived. We are actually making two different income statement. One was previous income statement according to their traditional way of selling, but now he wants to make a change. What change? He wants to reduce the sale price by 10%. We have reduced the sale price by 10, but what benefit he will get? Obviously, if you will decrease your sale price, demand of that product would be increased, and due to increase in demand, what will happen? Your sale would also be increased. How much? He is saying by reducing 10% selling price, 25% will be increase in number of units. These are old number of units, and by decreasing the price, number of units sold will be increased by 25%. So we have original numbers at 8,000 and there will be an increase. How much? 25%. How would you calculate 25%? 8,000 is multiplied by 25 and divided by 100. So in this way, your new units will become 8,000. And again, I can help you to understand in other way. 8,000 were old units and there is an increase of 25%. How you would calculate 25%? 8,000 would be multiplied by 25 and divided by 100. So these are 2,000. So what you understand, old number of unit 8,000 increase 2,000. So how many total number of unit? 8,000 plus 2,000, you will get 10,000. You can use this way. You can use this way to calculate new number of unit, or you can use the formula which is written over here. You can follow it. Whatever is easy for you, just do it. Alright, now come over here. We can now complete our statement. Your variable cost per unit is already given. You can use it. As there is no change in cost, you are just changing the sale price. There is no change in your cost price. So you will write the same cost price over here. It's time to calculate our amount. How you would calculate amount? By multiplying units into per unit. Selling units are 10,000 and per unit sale price is 81. In this way, you will calculate your sale price. Now it's time to calculate variable cost by multiplying units into per unit. Units are 10,000 and per unit variable cost is 63. So here you have calculated your variable cost. It's time to calculate your contribution margin by subtracting variable cost from the sales. Amount of sale is 8,10,000 and you will subtract your variable cost, which is 6,30,000. Contribution margin has been calculated. Fixed cost will always be fixed, but here statement is also given that increase in number of lanterns, this and that, no, not mentioned. But we do understand no matter how many number of units are increasing or decreasing, fixed cost will be similar. So again, fixed cost was 1,35,000. You will be using the same 1,35,000 as your fixed cost over here. It's time to calculate your net margin by subtracting fixed cost from contribution margin. Your fixed cost was 1,30,000. Your contribution margin was 1,80,000. Subtract your fixed cost, which was 1,35,000. In this way, you have calculated your new contribution margin. Now it's very interesting story. If you will have your interest, you will come to know what had happened. He had taken a step. First, I would like to let you check the answer. 81,000 first answer, 81,000 is written over here. Second answer 45,000, 45,000 is written over here. What is interesting story from which you can learn? He had decreased his sale price. Though it is very difficult to digest that you are decreasing your sale price just to increase your demand. You have decreased your sale price. As you can see, several car makers, Suzuki, Corolla, Honda, they have decreased their prices so that they can attract people, they can attract their customers to buy the cars. So purpose was to increase the sale and ultimately increasing their profit. But this is not the same thing which actually will be happening. You have decreased your sale price from 90 to 81 to get more amount of sales, though you have got, but ultimately you were getting profit of 81,000 when you have not changed your sale price. After decreasing your sale price, you were willing to get more profit, but instead of getting profit, what is happening? Your profit has been decreased. This was the interesting story. Keep it in mind whenever you want to decrease your sale price. It doesn't mean that you will get your profit as well. So in future, if you are doing your business, keep it in mind. Decreasing price or increasing price is not the main thing. Main thing is of understanding what will be the impact. This is the shortest story of understanding the impact without having any practical loss. You can calculate with the help of this phenomena what could be the effect of decrease in sale price, what could be the effect upon your profit. So would you do that? If you come to know by making these statements, your profit would be decreased if you will decrease the sale price. You will never be decreasing the sale price. How easy for a business student to make the decision, because uh, the business student will not be practically doing any experiment. He will make income statement, will calculate by himself or herself and will decide accordingly. So in this way, our third requirement has been completed. Let's see what fourth requirement is saying. Refer to data in 3 above. We have calculated this third statement. How many lanterns would have to be sold out at a new selling price to yield minimum operating income 72,000 per month? So again, it's a target profit statement. and we need to calculate units. So how do you calculate target profit units? I have already written the formula target profit, but in terms of units. You can happily use the same formula break even point. What was that? Fixed cost was divided by CM per unit. This was formula for break even. But for target profit per unit, how would you change this formula? You will start with bracket and will write over here the only word which you will increase is your target profit. Then you will add this target profit in fixed cost, close your bracket, divided CM per unit, and you will get the answer. So we have just evolved the target profit unit formula. Let's see how much target profit. Read over here. Our target profit is 72,000, which is given over here. How you have come to know how many lanterns should be sold out new selling price to yield a minimum net income. To yield means he has a target of getting a profit. So we have got our target profit, which is 72,000. Then you will add fixed cost, which is 1,35,000. You have put over here. Now you need to have CM per unit. For that, it's very easy. You can calculate over here CM per unit. Everything in this column is written per unit. How do you calculate contribution margin? By subtracting variable cost from sales. Okay. Then your sale is 81 and you will subtract your variable cost from it. Your sale was 81. You will subtract your variable cost, which is 63. So you have got your contribution margin as 18. So here complete your formula. Your target profit was 72,000, your fixed cost 135,000, and you are going to divide with CM per unit, and CM per unit 18 you have calculated over here. Alright, statement completed. Now put it on your formula. First was 72,000 target profit, add 1,35,000 as your fixed cost. Now divide it by CM per unit, which is 80. So in this way you have calculated your target profit unit. What does that mean? If you will produce 11,500 unit, you will get a profit of 72,000. So let's check the answer of number 4. This target profit was actually the fourth part. We should mention over here, and this is target profit number of unit 11,500. You can see 11,500 answer is written and we have calculated it. So all 4 requirements are completed. Let's review the requirements. You can see here the first requirement of this question was break even point. Okay. So first requirement break even point 5,000 was the answer and you have calculated 5,000 as your answer. Second answer was not mentioned, it was 4,50,000. You have noted down. Second is theory. We will get time to discuss theoretical portion as well. Third portion was what? At present company is selling 8,000 lanterns. Its answer was 81,000 and 45,000. So third 81,000 first answer and 45,000 second answer. 3 and 3a we have solved 81 45,000. 81 45,000. Fourth part was solved and answer was 11,500. So you can see 11,500. So we have reviewed the question as well. I'm suggesting you, whenever you are solving your question exam paper, do not turn your paper until you have reviewed your question. Even if you are 100% satisfied that your answer of your questions are correct, but even then I'm suggesting you to review. Already our 5.12 has been completed and we will surely be meeting for the solution of any other question in the future. pleasure. Up till then, you can take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to please pray for me as well. If you have any query, any question regarding this problem, you are very open to please text, message, or you can directly comment, directly meet me as well, or you can comment over here. I'm very thankful for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.